I speak to you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Please be seated. This is that day that starts out so well. We get to begin the service in a different place. We started in the parking lot for the 10 o'clock service. The 8 o'clock we start in the parish hall, so even the 8 o'clockers get an opportunity to start someplace else and travel in. We start on that high note, sometimes too high for some of us to sing, all glory, laud, and honor. We get our party favors, our palms, our crosses, and then it takes a turn. And then we start to really engage with the story, the themes of Holy Week. And it all seems very familiar, but at the same time, it's very unfamiliar, because this is the first time since 2019 that we've been able to do it this way. Last year, y'all were at home. Unless you were helping out on this side. We were allowed to have an altar party at least, which was nice. But do you remember the Passion reading last year? It was a video. Some of you were on the video. We shared that. I was sitting here listening to Deacon Wendy read the Passion a second time today. And I was remembering sitting in the pews trying to listen closely to the Passion recording, because we didn't have it broadcast in here anywhere. It was only online. And then the year before was full-on quarantine, so nobody was in the building, not even the clergy. Do you remember? Remember my living room? I remember standing in the backyard so that we could still have some sort of procession under my maple tree, with my child also operating the camera. Some things don't change. Sharing palms with our neighbors, singing all glory, laud, and honor as we walked through our backyard, up our porch steps, across our porch, into our house, down the stairs with the dog and the cat in procession with us. The year before then was our last normal year, if we had known. But even then, we didn't have Deacon Wendy yet. We had Deacon Tom. Everything changes. Next year, we really don't know what that will look like. But what is constant are these themes. What is constant is that presence of God, that God is with us, inviting us into this journey. And it's a good time to remind ourselves of that first line from our Old Testament reading today: "The Lord has given me the tongue of a teacher." I need to hear that sometimes, because on a day like today, when things are really chaotic and unusual, and normally we have the little green bulletin inserts for the palm, the Liturgy of the Palms, but we didn't do that this year because we have a full text, so you had your full bulletin, and my device's screen was too dark. I remembered now why that was a problem, because I have it set dark so I can see in here without blaring blue light on my face. When everything is weird and unexpected and doesn't quite come together the way you hoped, that reminder that God is here not only as our judge, but also as our teacher. That God is here saying, "It's okay, Anne. I can work through that imperfect start to the service," or I can work through needing to grab Becky's bulletin right at the last minute because I didn't think I'd be able to read the prayer from my screen. All those last-minute adjustments. God is here. And that is a wonderful relief. Now, as we engage in this, it's also tempting to fall back on our memories of how things have always been. We know how to process. We know how to have the palms. We know how to read the Passion. It may be different a little bit year after year, but we know how that goes. We know the story. And we tend to skip ahead. And that is truly a temptation. As we got the Passion story today, right? We can skip ahead to Easter next week, right? But if we do that, we're missing something. You know by now that one of my self-care routines, well, some of you are new, you may not know. My thing for Holy Week to take care of myself is to watch Lord of the Rings, because it's long, and there are lots of movies. And then they added 3 Hobbit movies, which is great, because it really gets me through the whole week. Now, last year, or maybe, gosh, I don't even remember now, 2 years ago, maybe it was during quarantine, my family had to be around me while I was doing all that self-care, and for once, my child actually started paying attention to the movie and was getting sucked in. And so I rewound it, and we watched the whole thing from the beginning, even though I'd seen most of the first 2 movies already. And this year, it's tradition, right? So the Schneer family watches the Lord of the Rings movie. We have the extended versions, the Blu-rays with all the extra scenes and stuff like that. And we joke, as a family, we don't even know what the theatrical cut looks like anymore, because we are so familiar with the special extended editions. Well, I had a little problem earlier this week. I was feeling a little low, trying to kind of keep my head on straight in the midst of all of these many, many tasks. So I started a little early this year watching The Lord of the Rings, and Lincoln wanted to be part of it. So we started watching it together as a family again. Well, my child and my husband are also in school. So all those times that I usually watch Lord of the Rings at home alone while I'm putting together bulletins or answering emails or something, can't do that now because now it's a family thing. Well, Well, thank goodness for HBO Max, because you can find Lord of the Rings, the theatrical cuts, on HBO Max. We already have the subscription. That's okay. So I'm watching it. I'm like, well, wait, that's not how this goes. Where's this scene? Where's that scene? I don't know if you are familiar with the movies. There's the whole Council of Elrond, and they're deciding what to do with the ring. And at one point, Gandalf stands up and he says the dark language of Mordor, and he reads what's on the inside of the ring, one ring to rule them all, but it's not in English. You get the idea. I'm a fan. I backed it up. How did I miss that? Because it's not in the theatrical release, which has the high points. It has the main part of the movie, right? But it doesn't have all those details. So yes, you can come to church today. You can have the procession of the palms. You can have the reading of the Passion. You can engage in the drama and the heartbreak, and then you can skip ahead to Easter next Sunday. That is totally fair game. But you're still missing something if you do that. You're missing the time to grieve and lament at the Tenebrae service on Wednesday night, as we extinguish candles and read from Lamentations. You're missing the Last Supper, eating with each other, our agape meal, hosted by the vestry that we finally get to bring back this year. You're missing the service of the foot washing. You're missing that opportunity to be together. You're missing Good Friday, where we really slow it down and dwell on the crucifixion. We sing our songs of praise and sadness as we remember what Christ has done for us. We're missing Saturday morning, the Holy Saturday liturgy, where you come in here and this place, this wonderful, warm, inviting church, is a tomb. You're missing the drama and the excitement of the Easter Vigil Saturday night with the kindling of the new fire, bringing in the new Paschal candle, missing it, not letting the time and the word and the drama work on your heart. Now, I say that knowing that there are people who work, there are people who have commitments, families, dance recitals, all the things, right? The reason I'm hitting it so hard is we have this magical thing called YouTube now. One of the weird mixed blessings that has come out of COVID, that COVID was this kind of awful delivery system for something good, is the ability to broadcast our services, that we have folks that are with us, that are not physically present here. And this week, that could be you. If you're not able to get here or you don't drive after dark, and we have some services that happen after nightfall, if you have work schedules that prevent you from getting here, you can still see later. Or if you are not internet enabled, and I know there are people here who are not online, you can read the readings. You have your prayer book that has the readings and the prayers in it. You can engage in this slower, deeper engagement. You see, it really is okay to get the start and the finish. But to miss that middle part is cheating yourself out of several more opportunities for God to show you what God has done. To make sure that as we walk this path through Holy Week, that we are walking in love and letting that love transform us so that we can go out into the world and show that love as well. To take that time and tear down the walls between each other rather than build them up. There's so much more to what God has in store for you and for me. And this week is just a small dose of that. This day that they put together in the lectionary because so many people can't be around for Holy Week, that tells us about that love. We get to hear the story. But there's more coming. So this week, whether you can be physically here or not, whether you can be online or not, take some time to reflect on the season. Take some time to read through the scriptures, to read through the Passion again. I know you have your bulletin. And ask God what God would like you to do with that. How God is calling you to respond to that love. We will get to Easter. It's coming, don't worry. But on the way, let's take our time and not rush it. Let the Word work on us and see how God is calling us next.